What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of FanDuel Anonymous. I wasn't going to make a video about this. I did make a post, but we're talking about the Joker movie. Now, a lot of people disagree with my comments this morning on Facebook. Make sure you're watching the Facebook page on FanDuel Anonymous. We always talk about all of this stuff all the time. But I think a lot of people misinterpreted me, so I want to make sure I enunciate myself so people can understand what I meant and why I meant it. So, for an example, we've been going through this rigmarole with the DCEU and Warner Brothers for years. Matter of fact, let me just remove the DCEU out of it, because technically, right now, there is not a DCEU. They're just standalone DC movies, which Warner Brothers says that they're working on, but there are also movies with characters that we have already seen be connected to what was known as the DCEU. When you take a look at Warner Brothers, like I said, we're looking at Warner Brothers right now. Warner Brothers has made a lot of broken promises about what they're going to do with this movie universe, about what they're going to do with these movies, about what they're going to do with these characters. This is a company that has in its back pocket, not even its back pocket, right in the palm of its hand, the three most iconic, greatest historical heroes known to man, and Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now, I know a lot of you know I love my Marvel movies, but I spend a lot of my time watching DC content, whether it be DC animated movies, whether it be DC Universe stuff on the streaming service, whether it be DC TV, whether it be DC cartoons. A lot of my time is spent watching DC content, so I'm not a DC hater. I just don't like to be bamboozled and mocked as a fan and as a consumer. So let's take a look at a couple of things. For example, like I said, we've been making these promises about these movies. Now they're saying we're going to do standalone movies. You got directors leaving, you got actors leaving, you have writers leaving. Everybody's leaving these projects. You lost Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, your two most titular actors in your whole company, for the head of your movies. That's not a good look. And they're 2 seconds away from getting rid of Ezra Miller because of, negotiations by Ezra Miller wanting to do one thing and Warner Brothers wanting to do another thing. That's the biggest problem. Warner Brothers is in the way. That goes to a point my man Sandy Pugh made about how the people from the DCAU, which is the DC animated universe, need to come and have some type of creative control over these movies and over this process. It will make it so much better, because you guys, we have been watching the Teen Titans and the other DC animated characters develop and flesh out over all of these animated series over the last 10 years or so. And they have done it so well. So why cannot that not be done with the movies? Well, because you have people in suits who are controlling this universe that they're trying to build, or supposedly trying to do. That's a big issue. Now, a lot of people brought up the fact that we should have a movie about villains. But when you look at this movie, I'm going to take the point my man Kevin Garlington made. He said this movie looks more like a psychological thriller more than a movie that is labeled and titled The Joker. That's the biggest thing about this movie that throws me off. It's labeled and titled The Joker, but does it speak of the Joker? Now, one thing we do know is there are so many different versions of the Joker. There are so many different iterations of the Joker. Even some of Batman's sidekicks, the Robins, have turned into Jokers. We know that has happened in the past. But this movie just looks like a guy who had a bad day, which is a couple of bad days, which is of course a very famous line from the Joker in The Killing Joke, that it only takes one bad day, and he's decided to go out and start being quote unquote a supervillain, which is a point that my man Jeremy Evans brought up for the 2020 podcast. He said, we're seeing a guy become a supervillain, but is he really becoming a supervillain? Because a supervillain goes against a superhero. And it doesn't look like in this movie that they're concerned about superheroes. Now, I'm pretty sure we're going to get some mentions, some Easter eggs, some name drops, all of that stuff. I guarantee that that's going to happen throughout this. Villain movies are always good. We need more villain movies. There are not a lot of villain movies out there. There have not been a lot of villain movies made. So to have a standalone villain movie, that's a good thing. That's a step in the right direction. That's something my man Clayton Mobbs and Chase Harris brought up on the page. That's something they brought up, and that's perfect. That's absolutely fine. But what's a villain without a superhero? And like my man Whitney said, we've seen so many Batman movies, and he's absolutely right. Whitney Moore, Vice President, FanDuel Anonymous, he said he's absolutely right. We've seen so many Batman movies, so many Superman movies. We do need something different. But how much different is this? Now, of course, I'm going to see this movie. point blank period. That's what I do. I'm going to watch every last one of these types of movies that comes out. As my man Joe mentioned, I'm going to watch all these movies because I want to see it for myself. But I don't like the pandering that I feel. Now, this is just the way I feel. I feel like it's a pander. It's like, okay, I know we made this promise of this, we made this promise of that, we made this promise of this, we made this promise of that. But I feel like it's like, here, just watch this until we try to get stuff together. Like, I'm still looking for a Green Lantern Corps movie. I really am. I'm waiting big time for a Green Lantern Corps movie. I was so excited for a Flashpoint movie to see Thomas Wayne. I really was. Clayton Mobbs made a point. He said, this is a true Joker movie. And it very well could be. It very well could be. But what about the disconnection? Because my point is, when you name something of what we know it to be, and it necessarily does not look like what it is, or look like what we're putting that character with, it can really throw a lot of people off. So at the end of the day, I don't hate the movie. And people saying, you haven't even seen the movie. You haven't either. I haven't, you haven't. And probably the only people seeing the movie is people that are making the movie. Of course, I haven't seen the movie. But my whole principle comes from what we're getting from this company. And I don't want anything but this company but to be great. Because like I said before, I watch more DC content than I do Marvel content. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. Thank you to all the guys that chimed in. And my man Jairus Turk, I love you, dude. Jairus Turk made a good point. He said we should all give it a chance. We should all go see it. He's a big Batman Joker fan as well. Turk, I got you. I'm gonna go see it. But I still feel like the DCU needs a lot of work. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Again, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, don't forget to check us out on SoundCloud as well. We appreciate all your support, and we'll see you guys in another video.